Hello, friends. I believe that we're live. Um, for some reason, Zoom wouldn't let me live stream directly, but I have ways around such things. So yes, I see us up on the screen, and I'm just excited because I wanted to do a series on leading congregational song, like some really practical uh, chats about like leading song, creating a culture of congregational singing. So we've been doing that, but I'm not good at a lot of things. And so I put a call out to some friends, and Ryan Flanagan said, "Yeah, I'll jump on a broadcast with you." So this is Ryan Flanagan. You're coming in from Austin, right?
Yes.
Live from Austin, and Ryan is actually good at leading congregational songs from the guitar, which is something I'm not good at. And so Ryan's here, and that's the topic for today is leading congregational song from the guitar. So, what do you got for us, Ryan? I think you have a maybe a song to open us up or some thoughts.
Yes, I do. Forgive my cavernous room here uh, and my non-technologically oriented brain. I was going to maybe share my screen and put um, a lead sheet up on there
Go for
if
it.
I can figure out how to do that. How do I do that?
Oh, you should have the option to share on the
Where would it
bottom
show me
little
to do that?
bar. There should be a thing that says share. If not, that's on me.
I don't see anything that says share,
Oh no.
but here's what I'll do. I'll just play the song while you
There you
try to figure that out. This is a hymn, a pretty well known hymn across the denominations, called Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah,
go. Mm-hmm.
or Redeemer, depending on your uh, tradition. And this is the hymn that we used this past weekend to open up a conference in Florida. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, bread of heaven, feed me now and evermore. Feed me now and evermore. That's just the first verse as I attempt to get my computer to cooperate with me.
I mean, I think the
Anyways, there you have
oh
it. Any questions? You need to see my fingers?
no, I mean the first thing I noticed was that you weren't lining out the melody or anything. You were essentially you established the rhythm and you established the tonality. Um, and there wasn't it wasn't super complicated. It was just like it was the basic two times through and then straight into it.
Yes. I'll just reflect back on that a little bit. So, especially when I'm arranging hymns, I usually find myself settling on one of like three or four different strum patterns,
Hmm.
um, that, especially in kind of a more folk style of worship, acoustic led, tends to be a diverse enough amount of rhythm uh, to stay interesting,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
and to keep it simple for volunteer musicians. I always, when I'm scheduling, um, band members for a given week, I always try to include one melodic instrument,
Okay.
like a flute or
Hmm.
a fiddle, who can pluck out the melody line, like for the intro.
Hmm.
So, um, we might start halfway through the song, or like on the last line of the hymn,
Hmm.
and the flute would go, just to establish
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
the melody foundation. Um, some traditions will play through the entire hymn
Sure.
before we start singing. We find that that keeps the congregation kind of just twiddling their thumbs
Like waiting.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might do that if it's like a brand new song, like if they've never heard it before or something, and I'm
Exactly.
expecting them to sing it. I do the whole thing through. But if it's something like that song that's in a lot of folks' repertoire already, then yeah, just the last four. Or I guess even if you have a keyboard player who with various sounds, they could use that as the melody intro,
Totally.
especially if you don't have a
Totally.
skilled keyboardist.
Right.
Just do the melody, man. You know?
Yeah. Always an option. And in fact, I've actually, if for whatever reason I don't have a melodic instrument,
Mhm.
I have no problem whistling the melody
Yeah,
into
actually,
the
I was just
tune.
thinking that was like really lovely. Like it brings that
In
it
our
it, it
time,
brings
yeah.
that folk, you know, thing. It's like,
And there's something about whistling too that is just like instantaneous joy. Uh,
right.
and unless you're in the middle of Lent or leading a service of lament, whistling, uh, I think joy is always an appropriate sort of
Yeah.
expression or emotion to get people to feel in worship.
Yeah, I've never heard a sad person whistle. That's true. It's always like when they're having a good day or they're nice and relaxed or whatever it is.
I know my wife's in a good mood when she's whistling while she's walking around the house.
Exactly. That's great. So you said you were just in Florida for an event?
Yes, my wife and I led music at an event for the Episcopal Diocese of Southwest Florida.
Okay.
They have an annual conference just to encourage discipleship and mission, and um, firing people up to love Jesus.
Hmm.
Um, and my wife and I both come from uh, Pentecost, Pentecostal upbringing, so our musical formation was in that world of like Pentecostal worship, right? So we've found in more traditional contexts who are trying to lean into more charismatic expressions of musical worship.
Hmm.
Um, we have some stuff in our back pocket that we can pull out to give people that sort of emotional um, connection in worship that has often been missing from their tradition. So
Do you ever on that one you were doing like a strum, like where you were doing a rhythm. Do you ever finger pluck for certain hymns?
yeah,
Like what would
yeah.
be what would be something you would do that for?
Yeah, so I'll do a very familiar one that we did at the conference. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart. All else be not to me, save that thou art. Thou my best art by day or by night. Waking or sleeping, thy presence my life. So
Nice.
sometimes I can pluck out the melody if it's
Yeah,
just within like four frets of,
sure.
what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's one example
I
of
mean that
your.
that just automatically invokes a much more gentle, like the finger plucking just kind of automatically kind of makes it more linear and less, you know, less rhythmic. Well, not rhythmic, and it's just like a gentle flowing rhythm rather than a chun
Yeah, it's
like a percussive rhythm.
more
Um,
like ocean waves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Versus I don't know what would the other, like a submarine about to launch a missile.
uh,
Sorry.
I just watched me and my wife were just didn't know what to do one night and just decided to watch like an old movie that we both just love and it's called Down Periscope. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know that movie. One of our
Mm-mm.
favorites. It's just so ridiculous.
That's
So
Ben Stiller, right?
yeah, yeah, he's the XO. He's like the crazy like first officer. Um, yeah, that just reminded me of that. That's the second time I've dealt with launching torpedoes this week. Um, so, okay, so when you were doing that, um, I began to think about miking. So I wanted to chat a little bit because I think, I mean, especially post pandemic, a lot of people are now dealing a lot more with microphones and, things like that. If you have a DI, like a direct input for your guitar, I'm assuming that's always kind of a best way to mic the guitar, and then you just have a solo mic or a handheld or something that is close to your face. Are there times when you've ever done a different way of miking, or if you don't have a DI, do you always mic the voice and the guitar separately? Like, what's been your
Yeah, for the
what have
most
you run
part,
into?
in my context, which is like small to mid-sized
Hmm.
congregations, anywhere from, well, on Sunday evenings I lead music at UT for the Episcopal Student Center, and that's just a handful of students, and
Hmm.
so I'd go completely unplugged. I don't mic anything for
Right.
that.
Hmm.
They don't live stream or anything either, so
Right.
um, just completely unplugged acoustic.
That's nice.
Um,
No
and
live
then
streaming.
it's really nice actually.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And then on most Sunday mornings, I'm at my church in South Austin,
Sure.
which has a PA system, and anywhere from 100 to 200 people on a Sunday, and I go direct with my guitar
Mhm.
because I have an input here,
Yep.
and electronics on the inside, um, and a separate microphone, like something equivalent to a SM58,
Yeah.
a Shure SM58, um, and both are very close, you know, direct sound.
Hmm.
Now I find it, because we live stream that service, um, the very direct sound through um, through the board into YouTube or wherever we're live streaming can be very difficult to mix, and it can be very difficult to get a good sound out of that. So what we do, in addition to the direct sound, is we have a room mic set up kind of back by the soundboard that is just capturing everything that's being heard in the room,
Yeah.
and we turn that up to sort of create a spatial like sound to make people online feel like they're in the room,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
that tends to like cover a multitude of sins as far as you know hearing every nuance of
Totally.
the vocals, and every mistake that every musician is making. It's
Yeah.
amplified when when you're going direct like that. So a room mic is definitely something I've learned over the years that makes the online experience more pleasant.
And like you said, it makes people feel like they're in the room, partly because it also catches the congregation's voice,
Exactly.
which I think is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And and I think, I mean, I'm gonna do a whole session on tech later, on creating a culture of congregational singing with tech, but I think it's a very new, it's a very, or at least it's a very different way of thinking as an audio engineer, as someone running the soundboard. Like, you don't necessarily want purely the ensemble or purely the organist and cantor or purely, like, you want this room sound. You want all these voices coming in at a louder level than you would typically expect for any kind of a recorded music or even a live concert. Like, you don't want a lot of
Mhm.
audience when you're doing a live concert,
Right.
but in a worship setting you do. And it's a very
Hmm.
different way of thinking.
Hmm.
But
For sure.
yeah, okay. So what I've gathered from this is, um, just as a beginning guitarist, because I can play four, sometimes five chords, so it's pretty impressive. Um, but you know, just like any other instrument, organ, piano, whatever, you think through the intro. Are you going to try to line out the hymn, the melody? If you are, is it coming from a different instrument that's melodic, like a flute or a keyboard or something, or whistling even? Things like that. And then you establish the rhythm, you establish the tonality, and then you get into it. And you don't, and what I didn't see you do the entire time is like, guide me, oh thou great Jehovah, and like trying to like strum on every note or anything like that, which I think a lot of I've heard beginner guitarists do sometimes, where it's like you just feel like
Hmm.
you're just mimicking the exact. No, you just establish that dika daka dika daka dika
Hmm.
daka dika daka, or the da da
Yeah.
da da da. You establish some sort of underlying driving rhythm that maintains,
Yes, indeed.
and then you're off to a good start. That's what I've gleaned from this conversation. I hope that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
on point.
um, I mean, maybe I'll just go through a few of the common strumming patterns that I use.
That'd be great.
Um, I mean, the first one I did was just kind of like a little bounce,
Hmm.
bounce, bounce. That was "Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah."
Hmm.
Um, let's see. We do a fun one. The church is one foundation. The church is one foundation. Is Jesus Christ our Lord? She is a new creation, like water in the world. It's a little bit more of a mid-tempo kind of.
Like a country song.
Yeah,
Dum,
totally. A little
dum, like Johnny
Christian feel
Cash.
with it. Yeah, totally Johnny Cash. Let me think. Okay, we did this one. Hyfredol, Hyfredol.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm plucking out the melody in this one too. Hallelujah, sing to Jesus. It's just a standard 6/8
Hmm.
groove. But you just kind of establish with strumming. Uh, I've learned you just you keep your wrist consistent, and the pattern is established by when you hit the strings going up or down, right? And then
Hmm.
you choose where you want to accent, which ones you want to accent. So I'm not going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're gonna. That's gonna create an inconsistent. It's just gonna make it a lot harder for you to stay on tempo and whatnot. So
Yeah,
um,
I tell people the same thing when they're drumming, because instead of like doom ga gung, it'd be like gung ba da ga gung, and you're always doing those eighth notes, even if you're not hitting the drum, and you just
you're
decide
still
when to
moving your
hit
hand. Yeah.
within that eighth note pattern. You decide when to hit the drum, and that makes sure that you're really staying on point with your tempo. And yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
Occasionally, you'll have something a little bit more complex. Songs of thankfulness. Still,
Mhm.
you're still keeping the consistent hand motions. You're just this is still happening.
Mhm.
You know, there's got to be more uh, kind of common. I'm having trouble opening my PDF. Otherwise, I'd have all kinds of ideas flooding my brain.
No, that's all right. That's already a great start.
Yeah,
And
man. What else?
no, I think I mean it's 9:55, and so we've already done, over 20 minutes of stuff, and this is really just like these intro conversations. Um,
Yeah, great.
so I really appreciate it. I wonder, do you want to close us with a stanza or two of something? Maybe something that
Sure.
just you enjoy, so that we can enjoy, part of this broadcast is simply drinking some coffee and enjoying some hymns. Um,
Okay.
so I know people out
Well,
there probably hopefully have their coffee.
here's one for the morning. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
Thanks.
There you
Um,
have it.
Thanks. Friends, if you are watching this and you want to keep digging into this topic, I mean, obviously you can seek people out who have been doing this for a long time, like Ryan and a myriad of other people across the U.S., wherever your location is. We also have a resource on the website, on the Center for Congregational Songs website, called Hymns and Guitar. There's this awesome session that Wendell Kimbrough did at the Calvin Institute. We have that. We have a link to that, as well as just some other general ideas. So keep working at it, and it can be done really well. And so, but like any other instrument, you have to be thoughtful about it. You have to practice, and then you can do some really beautiful stuff, like that greatest thy faithfulness, which was lovely and a perfect way to start our day. So, Ryan, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Hey, anytime. Call me again. We'll do another 20-minute coffee session.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, have a great day.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.